Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic.
So, Bree, she's a very interesting dog.
You know, she makes me laugh every day.
This is what you say. That's like your tagline for her. She makes me laugh every day. And I love that you say that.
That's why I like you. Well, it's one of the main reasons I like you.
That's kind of funny. She likes me the same reason she likes a dog. That's great.
It's something that's important to me. I could not.
No, hold on. I'm teasing you.
I know.
I get it. I do get it. I get where you're coming from. But think about the perspective of just a very simple person. Wow. She loves him and the dog the same way.
Well, you're welcome to take it that way. I don't give a rat's ass.
I don't know. It's like, it's just funny. You know, when you think about it, it's like the sound of that, it just sounds so meh.
There are hundreds of reasons why I love you, and that's one of them. There are
Is that I'm like the dog.
Oh, you dumbass. There are hundreds of reasons why I love the moves.
Can you see how I can take it that way?
Yes, but you know I don't mean it that way, so stop taking it that way, you turd sandwich. He's being a turd sandwich, people.
I'm doing it on purpose.
While I punch him in the stomach.
I'm doing it on purpose. She knows this, though.
If you hear a big oof, you know that I punched him in the stomach.
Yeah, this is true. She's not kidding. She'll do it. You know, she's already poking me with her feet. Those stinky things of hers. And her cat is parading around here in attack mode. But that's okay. That's okay. But that's okay. It's just environmental issues that we shall work through.
Anyway, Bree's fantastic. You're not wrong.
She's special because she just has these big feelings, and her feelings are like almost over in touch with the surroundings. And by that, I mean, like, if I am having a conversation with you about what I said to somebody on a phone call and I get a little heated. Yeah. She thinks it's about her.
Or she thinks you're yelling at her mom.
Or I'm yelling at you, or something's wrong. It gets her all upset.
Well,
it throws her off.
When you're having your heated conversation in my general direction, not heated conversation with me, you know, Correct. The difference. I try to laugh because it makes her more comfortable.
That's interesting.
And it makes Yogi more comfortable too.
It's just weird to me, but you know, she has big feelings. Like Yogi has pretty big feelings, but he's not nearly this bad. She needs to be like, she needs
reassurance and hugs.
She needs like to be told all the time how good she is. So interestingly, I don't know if we mentioned that we had like a free like session with a dog trainer to see what we could do about her jumping on people and pulling on the leash. That's literally the only 2 complaints we have about this dog. That tells you how good this dog is.
Right.
2 complaints. That's it. I mean, I love Yogi to death, and I have probably more complaints than that. One of which wouldn't be the fact that he has to sniff every blade of grass. Every blade of grass he has to sniff. Every single one. Yes, I'm talking if there's 1,000 of them between where you want to go and where he is at right now, he's going to sniff all 1,000 blades of grass.
It's why we like taking him to the bark park so much, because he can freely sniff every blade of grass to his heart's content, and neither one of us have to dawdle behind waiting for his ass.
And he loves that. That's, you know, that's true. It's a big reason why he loves that. So
he's currently sniffing every single fiber of the carpet downstairs.
Yes. So I'm just saying that, you know, she has got these huge feelings, and like no matter what you do, it affects her somehow.
Yeah.
And it's like bizarre that you have to think about this dog when you're making a decision. Like, how's it going to affect Bree? And I know people are going to say I'm nuts, but there you go. So today is
Am I the asshole day?
Am I the asshole? So she's got another one of her scenarios for us. And,
pizza's on the way.
She's got one of the scenarios for us. And, here it goes.
Yeah. Pull up your chair. Get real comfortable. Am I the asshole for telling my dad that the $5,000 he gave me for graduation was not enough?
Ouch.
All right. My dad always liked my brother more. I mean, I kind of get it. He is the perfect son every parent would have wanted to have. And I'm this mediocre girl who struggled through a CS degree. I don't know what that is. Anyway. My dad bought my brother a very expensive watch and paid for his trip to Europe when he graduated. He probably spent more than $25,000 on his graduation. My dad didn't even want to go out with me. I told him that I wanted to go out, and he said he was busy but wanted to give me my graduation gift and said he will transfer $5,000 to my account. I was excited to spend the evening with him, but he blew me off. I wasn't happy when he told me about my gift. He could see that I was upset and asked me if it wasn't enough in an irritated tone. I told him that it wasn't as if he didn't know what I liked to buy something I would like, and I was getting way less than my brother got, as always. I told him I didn't want his money and left. My dad sent a long text and told me that I would have gotten something better if I had studied harder. My brother got a scholarship while I barely got into my college, and he still had to pay all the fees. He hasn't talked to me since it happened, and I wasn't invited to Thanksgiving or Christmas. I just feel like an ungrateful asshole right now. Edit. They also paid for my brother's apartment and living expenses while he was in college. It was not like he got a full ride, and they didn't spend anything on his education. They still paid a portion of his fees and his living expenses for the 4 years. Is she the asshole?
This is a tough one.
I know, because
really tough.
There are ways you can look at this where she's clearly the asshole, and ways that you can look at this where she's telling somebody how she felt.
Yep, exactly. And that's what I'm getting at here.
How are you leaning, man? How are you leaning? What's your initial reaction? Reaction number one.
Well, reaction number one is that maybe she's an asshole because she should trust what her parents are doing. Like, they're giving her things on multiple levels, not the least of which is not telling her, oh, you should move out, which a lot of parents do when you turn 18. These parents were not doing that. Yeah. They're not, but that's not in the story.
I mean, if she wasn't invited to Christmas or Thanksgiving, she's clearly living in housing of some variety.
At this point.
Yes.
Yes. Probably because they felt, I don't know. That's the part of me that's bothered too, is that even if, this is my thing, I think it's either they're the asshole or they're both the asshole. And here's why. Okay. If you believe that there's a path to her being the asshole, so there's a way for her to be the asshole.
It's very obvious, yes.
He is the asshole completely. Because why cut her off?
I mean, I think if you in the same situation were to say you paid for all of Ash's stuff and then Matt comes along and you're like, here's $5,000, go away. If he was like salty about that, yeah, but let's not forget you would have a discussion about it. But you're missing. You wouldn't cut him out of your life.
But you're missing a big part of the story that was there. They were supposed to hang out together,
right?
And he blew him off,
right? That's the shitty
What do you think the kid really wanted?
To spend time with their dad and actually
wanted to spend some time being their focus.
Be number one for the day,
right? Never happens, and here was like the perfect opportunity. So this one makes me a little emotional, but that's okay.
Do you think that if the dad would have come and spent the evening with the daughter as promised and like she wanted, that she would have just taken the $5,000 and it wouldn't have caused a rift at all?
Yes.
Me too. I think her feelings were actually hurt by being blown off, and that she kind of just put it in the wrong direction. Like
when she said that money wasn't the issue, she wasn't lying, man. The issue was that he blew her off.
Yeah.
And she's basically saying, you know what? If you had given me what I wanted, you could have given me back anything you wanted, any amount. I don't care what it would have been. I would have taken it. Could have been $500. Never mind $5,000. She would have taken it happily because it truly wasn't about money to her.
I can kind of see this scenario because, as we both know, I was the little bit of the more golden of the two children in my family. I mean, I went to college. My parents paid for everything, living expenses, tuition, all of it. My brother didn't go to college, so he didn't get anything after graduation. He got kind of a kick in the pants and get a job.
Was that made clear to you guys as you were growing up?
I think that it was made clear to him that he wasn't going to get any money if he didn't go to college. Like that they were saving for him to go to college, and if he didn't do that...
That's not a discussion you need to have with the kid that you think is going to go through to college.
But you
have that discussion with the one you don't think is going to go through to college.
He was certainly salty about it when everything was paid for me.
Well, I mean, in a case like that, I don't think this and that are the same thing. I think in a case like that, that's just his problem. I mean, bleeping well.
And I don't think my parents really treated either of us differently. I think if I hadn't gone to college,
you would have gotten the same exact
that I would have gotten the same exact treatment, and they would have transferred the money they save for our college to their retirement fund and called it a day.
Yeah.
Or maybe because I have awesome parents, would have split it between us as like wedding gifts or something. Maybe.
You know, knowing your parents, that's probably more likely the route they would have gone.
Yeah.
Because they're more like, all right, well, if you're not going to do this thing that we were going to give you the money for, then we'll only give you the money if it's towards something positive like that.
Right.
You know, and that's something positive, you know, so it's not, in other words, what I'm trying to say is they're not trying to be punitive. That's one thing about them that I've always loved is, you know, they're not punitive people. They're more like encouraging you to go this way.
Yeah.
But if you don't go this way, it's not like kabam, you know, and I love that.
My opinion of this, am I the asshole?
Okay, yeah.
Is that the dad is the asshole for blowing her off on the evening of her graduation.
And that's why I was saying that either that could be just the dad is the asshole or they're both the asshole. Because either you're giving him a pass on that and saying that, well, he still remembered to give her a gift, so they're even, but then she gets to be an asshole for saying this. Well, I say no. He starts out as the asshole and she ends as the asshole because of the whole F you and your money kind of thing. I think you can see it both ways.
Right.
That they're either both the asshole or only he's the asshole. And I think you're right. I think the fact that he blew her off early on, he lost all credibility after that.
Right. My dad didn't even want to go out with me. I told him that I wanted to go out and he said he was busy, but wanted to give me the graduation gift.
Yeah. It's like, I don't even want to be bothered giving you my time. I just want to throw my money at you.
Right.
And I don't know.
Kind of a douche move.
To me, I always feel like holding my money in tight before, you know, spend that time first and then hold my money there. And then after spending the time, that's when I'm more apt to give money. Well,
and what would have been a nice thing instead of just like transferring it into her account in a like afterthought kind of way is go out for freaking dinner with her and just give her a check in a card. It's not that much more effort.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're busy on graduation night, go out a few days later. You're not busy every night.
Exactly.
That's bullshit.
Exactly. That's the thing. Make the effort. Make the effort. And that's why I think you either stop and say he's the asshole, end of story, or if you continue on, what she does is an asshole move. So now they're both the asshole. So
I'm opting with he's the asshole and she reacted to the wrong thing when she confronted him.
And that's fair. I think that's an actual fair assumption.
And what are you going with?
Same thing.
Nice.
Same thing.
We agree. Heck yeah.
And we didn't start out agreeing. FYI.
You were on they're both the asshole boat?
Uh-huh.
That's kind of how this happened.
Bigly. That word that we haven't heard in a while. Bigly.
I get the advantage of reading these in advance and then having like, sometimes I pick the am I the asshole weeks before we do it. I have weeks to form my opinion.
Yeah.
You have to form your opinion on the spot.
Yeah. And sometimes this one was hard.
Yeah.
This one was really hard.
Yeah.
So that's where we were. I think it's cool, but I'm exhausted and I'm dried up and I need to get away from this place. So,
Well, on that super subtle note, good night, everyone.
hasta la bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.